Hello everyone, welcome to the guide for Bakasura. I will be showing you his strengths, his weaknesses, and pretty much a little bit of tricks you can use. You can find him mostly used in either the jungle spot or in solo lane of all places. Due to the fact that his attack speed and ability to do true damage with basic attacks makes it pretty much good counters to very tanky gods that go into the solo lane, like Hercules, Thor, no not Thor, but Hercules and Chalk. Chalk is actually a really good one for Bakasura actually. And let's see here, the first items you really want to go for, depending which lane you're doing, you want to do the Bomba's Mask along with the tier 2 Rage of the Gods for the jungle. Due to the fact that you don't really need that much regeneration with those two items, due to the fact that your consume gives you HP and movement speed. But let's just say we're gonna do the let's just say we're gonna do the solo lane position. So therefore, we're not gonna want the Bomba's Mask, but Death Toll instead, for more lifesteal and more sustain. Due to the fact that solo lane has a blue buff, which will supplement your fact that you'll be using abilities and consuming minions. Along with the Death Toll, you're gonna want to not get the, just tier 1 Hand of the Gods for a little bit of wave clear, since your wave clear is pretty much non-existent. And then you also going to want to get, you should have enough money after that for a tier 1 boots. Then at least a couple potions. After that, you're going to want to go into the lane, you know, grab your help do the rotation first. Normally in the new meta right now, which is season 2, very experimental stage right now in the early season, the more optimal, more advanced, your higher levels like gold and diamond players, they take the back camps here with their solo laners, with their junglers, and then they give the jungler the speed buff, then move over to the blue buff. Of course, you'll be consuming and everything else. So you normally would want to start off with consume, which allows you to eat your minion, and again, one, it heals you, grants you movement speed. But what you really want to notice that your jump, your leap it provides not only a way for you to escape, but also a way for you to initiate as well. Due to the fact that it does a little bit of damage, but the big part of it, it reduces armor, I believe, unless they changed it. Yes, it reduces the enemy armor. And on your 3, which is, it allows your basic attacks to do true damage, which goes through armor. And then your ultimate, or yes, your ultimate god. Let's see here, if I can have my assistant here, Lord Door, show up in the middle lane here, or the solo lane, which would be so kind for me to show you what this ultimate move can do.
The pain and suffering. Yes, Lord Door's here to arrive.
Oh, don't worry, I won't kill you that quickly. I have basic items right now. Pretty much, this is pretty much what you're doing. If you're fighting up, you really just want to go up and back hog these guys and eat someone. Pretty much that's the goal of the laning, and pretty much you're waiting for an opening on your opponent. And
Such as?
Pretty much yep. See, he has, and your ultimate pretty much puts a spot on the ground you see here, where it's a crippling AoE area, which summons little minions, and those minions are counted up by those which you eat actually. So the more you consume, the stronger your ultimate will pretty much be, in a sense, because the more DPS, the more minions you have. And also, your not only does your ultimate change the it does an AoE cripple and summons little minions, but your basic attack will also change as well. It will do a cone shape in front of you, which is longer than your basic attack, and will also provide a true damage buff, which again goes straight through armor. So let's go back to base and let's just do a rough estimate of what we want to build. since I've just shown the strengths and weaknesses of all, well, mainly the abilities. So far, you have the tier 1, you have the Death Toll and tier 1 boots. You have these options now in the season 2 with boots, which Ninja Tabby has been changed, which gives attack speed, movement speed, and a little bit of power. Then you have the Warrior Tabbies, which gives more power but no attack speed buff. Bakasura excels mostly on attack speed, so building attack speed items more than anything is better due to the fact that he has the armor piercing moves. Like his 3 can go through armor anyway, so regardless, building power is not exactly your main goal. So Ninja Tabby is my high suggestion because basic attack speed is critical on him. Getting a little bit of lifesteal next is probably the best idea if you're being bullied in lane. They suggest Bloodforge, but I would probably suggest something a little bit different. Soul Eater might not be too bad due to the fact that it gives you life. Not only does it give you lifesteal, HP, and attack speed, but it also gives you a little bit of aura, which also helps your friends. But it's very situational due to the fact that it gives you so little attack speed anyway. But I probably would go with Devourer's Gauntlet due to the fact that, I mean, the stacking of it will also encourage you to use your, will also work with your 2 as well. So you'll be, in a sense, stacking 2 things. Your passive and the Devourer's Gauntlet will carry you stronger into the late game. But you gotta remember, the Devourer's Gauntlet will take some time to be fully charged. So it'll be not that strong early. So it depends on how you want to play. If you're wanting to be very aggressive, I would probably go with the Bloodforge instead, due to the fact that it will work with your basic attacks much quicker, and you'll be able to stack it. Then you do want attack speed. You could go with the Executioner, which will lower their armor even more, because your 3 is not a permanent status. But it will also increase the after the true damage is done, it will allow you to it'll still deal a constant bit of damage due to the fact you're still lowering their armor with your basic attacks. So Executioner is in my suggestion, a very good item to have, which I do agree. Genisied on an assassin is always very strong, especially if you're going up against a guy with high HP, like Chalk, for example. Chalk usually builds into HP items, which usually goes very well with someone who's picking up Genisied. So again, it really depends on who your opponent is. So you must think of who your opponent is and build accordingly to so. Like our opponent right now is Fenrir, and as we can see, he did not really build any HP items. So going Genisied is not really recommended. So going more like going with Aussie instead is probably better, due to the fact that it gives you more lifesteal, gives you some penetration, which is more of what you would want, and it gives you attack speed as well. So I think, and between the 2 in this situation, SI is much more useful. And going with some crit damage would probably be useful as well. So we'll first pick up the Executioner, because I feel pretty safe, because one, I don't feel he can burst us quite down with all his abilities, not with us being able, if he just, okay, I'm getting my words a little mixed up right now, so excuse me, but the situation which most likely will happen, he'll stack up his passive, which means he'll leap on top of you, stunning you. When he does that, you can put your ultimate on top of yourself, because afterwards he will most likely try to use this 3 to do some burst damage. When you do that, throw your ultimate on top of yourself, it will cancel out and cripple him from being able to continue doing that burst damage. Then with that, you can, if there is a minion around and you're pretty sure there will be minions around, you can regain some of the HP you've currently lost, then start dealing some major true damage to Fenrir immediately. But if you don't think there will be minions around, you can get the Bloodforge before the Executioner, which will allow you to duel with him much more quickly. So we'll pick up the Bloodforge. So it pretty much comes down to preference. If you feel safe in your lane, I would go with the Executioner first. But if you do not feel too safe, I would go with Bloodforge. Okay, and the next, then of course, whenever you pick up one or the other, you pick up the other one afterwards. Stating that right now before any confusions happen. And since we're up against a Fenrir, we will go with Rage for that bonus damage, because we want to be able to deal some crit damage. And I think Rage is going to be the only crit item we're going to need, because we're going to want some more attack speed. So we're going to go in here, go into attack speed, because bakasura really shines from attack speeds. We could go with Haste of Fatalis. We could go with Witchblade, but I would like something that gives more movement speed as well, because bakasura really excels on staying onto people, and what really helps it is the ability to have that speed increase. So for right now, we will go with Haste and Fatalis due to the fact that it gives movement speed as well. And he doesn't really have a slow, so Windblade is not really that useful in that regard. And after that, Haste and Fatalis, we will be selling our death toll, because that's what the item that was supposed to help us get through the early game into the more late game. Now you can sell that for a more useful item, which I would probably suggest another attack speed item, because again, he really excels in attack speed, very much so. You have many choices in this regard. You can go, heck, some of these items you could probably even go before then, or you can use these instead of Executioner, but I still say Executioner is probably more useful. At this point, if you have not picked up the SI, I would. But you probably should have picked up the SI either A, after the Blood Forge, or after. But due to the fact that, okay, let's just say our lanes are going well, you're doing very well, you're very competent, and you don't really feel like you need that attack speed right now. So that's why you would go with the Rage before the SI. But if you were feeling not so confident and you need that like additional life steal and attack speed, you would go with the SI. And also, since the SI is indeed cheaper, it'll be much more easier to get to than the Rage will. And so pretty much your build should look similar to something like this in the end, considering our opponent is Fenrir. But okay, let's just say our opponent is instead Chalk, someone who's much more tankier, someone who has a lot more health. We can change our build a little bit to optimize it a little bit. Optimize. I think that's the word, right?
Optimize or accommodate the situation.
Yes, thank you very much. You can also throw your 2 cents in at any time as well. I would instead of buying the SI instead of that, I would probably go with Genisied instead, like this. But you would want to get Genisied much more earlier, which means instead of the Executioner, you would instead go with the Genisied, because you're going to want to get that bonus damage for his extra HP early, because gods like him, gods like warriors, naturally have a higher health base at the end of the game, regardless of items bought. Unlike assassins, who usually have a lower health base, but they deal more damage, because they have a higher basic attack. You get what I say? So pretty much assassins sacrifice HP for more damage, and warriors sacrifice damage for more HP. It's the equivalence, really. That's what makes them unique. Anyway, in skill building, what you want to start with, if you feel safe and there's no one coming to counter jungle or anything like that, you're going to want to start with your 2. And your main goal is to eat the big minion in the middle, since he has the most HP. But you can only successfully eat him if you have his HP lowered to a certain point. So I'm going to head over to a camp right now, and I will show you at that certain level. Oh, I did a little too much damage there. Whoops. Let's try again. No,
the mana camp near Solo's ready to go.
And that's about it, right there. When they're near to death, but not quite there. And voila, and you get to eat them. And if I try to do that on a different like a fully health minion, it will not work. See here, as soon as it comes off cooldown, I will show you that it indeed will not work. See, I cannot eat them, regardless. I have to deal a certain amount of damage before I can eat them. So there is a bit of skill in knowing this. So that I cannot quite remember the right percentage. So here, okay, it heals you. And these are the different stats you can see on screen. The leap will, through all levels, give a 20 debuff, physical debuff when you land on someone. And it scales up, and the damage scales up to the max of 340 base damage at top level. The heal has a base heal of 27 at the base, and the protections it can give you is up to 30 at max levels. But okay, so let's continue what I was getting on, because I'm jumping everyone. I apologize for that. Okay, and for the Butcher's Blade is what you want to level up the soonest. So pretty much you want to put one level into eat minions. Then if you feel safe in your lane, go with the Butcher's Blades. Then you just want to, because one, it gives you passive bonus physical power with each level, and you activate it to give yourself true damage, which scales up throughout all the levels. At level 1, it's 10 true damage, all up to 70 at the highest level, along with the physical power at 10, all the way up to 30 physical power at the top level. And his ultimate provides a slow as well when you land on them, when you put it on top of them. Not only does it give it cripple, but also a slow as well. So it's a good initiator. And a cone degree of 5 for 5 seconds, and a CC immunity for only 1.5 seconds. So you could use it to, say, get out of a Ares ultimate. But you have to pretty much know when it's about to pull you, because it only has a 1.5 second CC immunity. And I think that pretty much covers the solo lane, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, other things about the Conquest map that has changed is indeed the Fire Giant. You will notice that it is much wider than it was in Season 1. They did this mostly based on the fact that they want more room to decide. It makes it much more easier to attack the Fire Giant, but also it's much more easier. It's much more difficult to defend it, to disengage, to engage, because there's much more wide space in areas for assassins, say, to jump in from behind or to get around to the back line to pick off key targets. Now, the newest meta right now is all about the early game, which puts more emphasis on the Gold Fury itself. I have seen teams who took Gold Fury at the 6-minute mark, which means that their support rushed Hand of the Gods. The Gold Fury right now is probably the most important thing on the map in the early game, because getting a slight advantage will snowball you into victory. Because the game is right now I can't say it's really optimal, due to the fact that it places so much more emphasis on the Gold Fury than it previously has before in the past. But that's what it is. So having a ward on the Gold Fury at most, you probably want at least one on the ward, a ward on the Gold Fury at the 5-minute mark. And you want to make a move onto the Gold Fury as soon as possible.
Generally, I would suggest about the 9 to 10 minute marker. Yes. That is the optimal time to do it, because you should be at a high enough level, no matter what your team comp is.
Yes, that's only regarding that 3 people come. But with the new strategy I've been seeing lately is the fact that there have been more people, like more team roaming than usual. Like you would see the middle lane roam over to the solo lane more often. You would see the middle lane solo laner and the Guardian rush to the Gold Fury. So wards are now essential more than ever than they were in Season 1, due to the fact that the meta has been changed so much to the early game. So I believe, now that I believe that it's such on the early game level, Thanatos is probably going to be seen much more now, due to the fact that he's such an early game god. If he's able to carry himself well in the early game like he usually can, he probably can snowball the team into victory, because it really is based on the early game. If you watch some of my other videos that are based on the Season 2, you would notice that it was all based on the early game. Early game decisions is key now. If you make poor early game decisions and you are punished for it, you will fall behind quickly. And in this new meta, what will catch you back up is indeed the Gold Fury. But if the enemy team gets the Gold Fury and your team does not make a move for it, the entire team will then suffer the fact that you will have lost not only 300 gold for yourself, but that's 300 gold for each teammate, which in total is 3, 6. I can't do the math right off the top of my head because I'm not that genius. Which
should be about 1,500.
Yeah, 1,500 gold. That is a big advantage. That is a big disadvantage. You have to think of it. Gold Fury is like, yeah, you're in the soul lane, you're doing fine, you're getting all the gold and XP. But what if someone else in the another lane is like lacking, due to the fact that it's like a poor matchup? Let's explain the poor matchup. Achunga versus
Hercules.
Not a very skilled Hercules. He's gonna have a very rough game. And how would we compensate for that loss in a pick? Essentially, a counter pick. Gold Fury is pretty much the biggest thing. Now, if Hercules and his team was able to pick up the Gold Fury, his lack of ability to farm in the solo lane would be pretty much evened out, and he'll become more useful in the team fight. Now, then again, if Chang'e and her team was able to get the Gold Fury, her ability to carry the team will skyrocket due to the fact that she got that gold, she got that XP, and not Hercules, and she'd be able to punish him even more. So now I hope you realize the emphasis on the Gold Fury in the early game. I can't say I really like this in the new meta, but this is the reality. Gold Fury is a thing. You cannot disregard it. You cannot ignore it. And you have to try to get it as soon as possible. Even if it means like letting go of a few kills, those few kills is only good for you, really. And this is a very team-focused based game. If you do not focus on helping your teammates, if you do not focus on Gold Fury, if you do not focus on objectives, like towers, you will lose. There is no difference about it. One person cannot carry an entire 5-man team. As you probably will see in my newest video that will be coming out either before or after this, which is on my Neath, which I did very well as Neath, but the rest of my team kind of fell behind, unfortunately. And due to the fact that we were not able to take Gold Fury at all, we lost, even though I was able to do so very well. So now that's back down on these objectives. Objectives are very important. And what really keeps you safe from the objectives being stolen from you, or you being able to steal objectives from them, is wards. Yes, that $50 little trinket can very well save you the game. It's very cheap, very easy, and knowing where someone is half the battle. If you know where they are, you can make moves accordingly. Like, am I correct in this assumption?
Yes, you're very correct.
Uh-huh.
Such as, well, let me go back, grab some wards, and I'll show you some examples.
I'll do the same myself, because I don't think they'll be able to see your aspect unless you're recording. You'll be able to give me that feed.
I'm not recording at this time. My computer's not optimal for it.
Okay, I'll just... Yeah, you might make the argument like, hey, I'm not the support. I'm not supposed to buy ward. No, I don't care if fuck what position you're doing. You can at least afford one ward. You can be... That ward in the mid lane could actually very well save your life. Because you're in the mid lane. You are gankable on both sides. Okay, let's say the minion waves are, you know, pushed up all the way up here. You know, I'm just gonna get rid of these guys so I can show you. There we go. Let's just say the minion wave, you're pushed up here and you're pushing the tower constantly, and you have a very dominant position over their mid laner. But guess what? No wards means you can get ganked from both sides, like so, which could lead to your death and the loss of an advantage as well. Because if they get their golden XP, I don't care if you're their counter. If they're more stronger than you, if they're higher levels than you, they will win against you. And especially if the team backs them up better. What was that?
What I would recommend is like someone like me who has not quite done a league game yet. I would say, where would those wards be put at?
Okay.
I know where support would put them, but where would everyone else put them?
Generally, support always places right here, and one sentry here. As you can see by the beeping.
Now, I can't see the beeping because I'm on your team.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
You may want to show.
Okay.
Sorry, force a habit.
I know. Well, yeah, normally the support will at least have 3 wards on them at all times. Normally you would put the sentry ward in the early game on the Gold Fury here. You will want to put a ward here because this is a major major entrance really, because you'll be able to see up this lane here, down this way, a little bit into the middle, the mid camps, and also this lane here. See, these intersections here are pretty much the biggest spots for the mid laner. As for the solo lane, right here is probably one of the biggest, and also right here, because seeing when they're taking their buff allows you to know where they are. In the late game, you're going to want to place wards more, if you're winning the late game, I should say. If you're winning in the late game and you have the tier 1 towers down, placing wards more aggressively in the front area, like in the damage or in the speed area, is much more viable. I'm getting hit by damn minions. Just die.
No!
But anyway, yes. And also, when Gold Fury is less of a hot topic in the early game, and it's more about the siege or the fire giant, you want to place a sentry ward more between the pillars. One, because it gives you the true sight to see if there's any wards in there, but also somewhere around. So you will want to place it somewhere around about here, because one, it'll allow you to see right about where I'm walking, see if there's any wards right in this area, and also inside as well. And also, you would want to place wards around as well if you're going to try to take Fire Giant, like somewhere around, right over there, and one right over here as well, in this intersection. These are highly trafficked intersections for the Fire Giant, and you're going to want to see if someone's coming or not. That is the biggest thing. Vision is just really key to knowing what's going to happen. If you see them coming and you notice they are indeed stronger than you, they have better team fight than you, you might want to disengage and back up. And if you can and if they are the ones initiating onto the Fire Giant, you can either do one of 2 options. You can initiate on the Fire Giant onto them later on down the road, or just when the Fire Giant's a little low, like half HP, you can initiate on them, so they have to make a choice: continue on the Fire Giant or fight the team fight. At that point, they cannot do both. You can think of it in a sense that there's a little bit extra DPS from the Fire Giant as well, assisting you, sort of, in a way. Because his basic attacks are going to be targeting the enemy team. And if you force them to disengage, since the new regeneration, he does not go back to full HP right away, then you can have this chance right there to steal the Fire Giant. Now, if
the same also goes for the Gold Fury.
Yeah, the same goes
forget that.
Yeah, the same goes for Gold Fury. So they put a lot of so you really have to analyze the situation, see the abilities of your teammates, and act accordingly to so. Again, it's really ability based. It's really, you really have to recognize what is happening around you. If you cannot do that, then I'm sorry, it just seems a little too soon for you to do League. But that is just the reality of things. And I'm able to talk about this in an experience due to the fact that I have played this game for such a long time, and I have seen the meta shifted so many times. And I've seen gods go in and out of favor. I've seen so many nerfs, so many changes. So I have some good experience in the game. So I have an idea what I'm talking about, at least.
Yes.
And if you're wondering what's so big and so important about the Fire Giant, and you're still new to the game, and you just don't know why it's such a big thing. 1, it gives you protections. 2, it gives you health and mana regen. 3, you do bonus damage to structures. That includes phoenixes. If those 3 things do not entice you to take it, then here's the 4th one. The buff is applied to all teammates who are currently alive when killed. So an entire team who has additional protections, who has health and mana regen, who can kill towers quicker. I mean, it makes... And also, it's just that additional protection makes it much easier for team fights as well. I mean, why wouldn't you want to take it? It's pretty much... The Fire Giant is put there for the fact to end games. That's why he's there. And that's why he's such an important thing on the map.
Yeah.
But he's way too strong. Spawns at the 15-minute mark, I believe, if I'm not correct, or if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so.
Yes.
It's either the 12 or 15.
I'm pretty sure it's the 15-minute mark. I cannot be 100% sure because I didn't memorize it off the top of my head. But usually right when he spawns, he is way too strong. You're like, oh, then why don't we just take that right when he spawns? Trust me, your entire team might be wiped out by him. He is a very strong neutral camp, very powerful neutral camp.
Let me show an example.
Yeah. You have a full build, and yet do you see how little damage he's doing to him, and yet he's completely decked out with all his abilities, level 20, and yet he lost a lot of HP just to a few basic attacks. Doing a 1v1 on the Fire Giant is not recommended. It is a team objective, and your entire team needs to be there to take it. The Gold Fury, on the other hand, is not nearly as powerful, as you probably will see in a second. In the late game, your hunter is the only one who really needs to be able to grab it. It'll only take him probably about less than 30 seconds to kill it, if he's building the crit build. Which, if you watch the Huey video I did, I showed that what the crit build is in there. The crit build is, I'm not going to talk about that because I talked about it in another one. So let's continue our discussion on the importance of these objectives. Like I said, the objectives are quite important. You cannot really ignore them. Blah, blah, blah. Man, this is boring.
Oh, we're at the ambush points. The ambush spots.
The ambush. The ambush is... Yes. Since the map is, and jungle has shifted, there is a lot more ambush points. As you see here, there is a lot of places you can juke around in. These pillars here can be used as a hiding spot because you cannot see on the other side. Okay, Fenrir, if you'd be so kind to be my assistant on this and go on the other side of the pillar.
Okay.
As you can tell, I can no longer see him. But now I can. Now I can. Now I can. See? That's why having a ward here would have changed the fact that I would be able to see him and he could not see me. Because the ward would not be able to see on the other side of the pillar if you place it right in between. If you place the ward right here, you will not be able to see it. You will have to hide more in this angle here. If you're more on top, if you have it more on top of the fire giant itself. And having that, there are these blind spots, and you can abuse them. I'm mixing up my words again a little bit. I apologize. So
it's no problem.
Yeah. So pretty much, knowing blind spots, knowing when enemies do not have wards up, it allows you to gank them. Allows you to set up ambushes. Since it's like you have a ward. Let's say you have a ward here in this intersection, and you're knowing they're they're coming to the fire giant here. You can have the entire team like hiding right behind these pillars, waiting for them, and knowing when they show up, you just pounce on them, and voila, they are pretty much caught off guard. They do not know you're there, and then all of a sudden they are destroyed. And which means if you take out a few key individuals, like someone with a hand god of 3 or something like that, then that means you have pretty much almost free like a free fire giant due to the fact that hand 3 executes minion camps at a certain level. Like if I got this guy to about 25% health, where you can tell when that is when the you see the red bar above, right underneath the timer, you will see his HP bar. If that turns yellow, then you can use the hand god 3 to execute, which is an instant kill. Just getting to it, that also works on the Gold Fury as well. So that's why the hand god was it? God, I cannot remember the names with my life. Wrath of the Gods. Yeah, that's why Wrath of the Gods is so important, and you normally would see that on a support, because supports usually have mobility. Like if you go Ymir, you're usually going to buy Blink, so you have Wrath of the Gods and Blink. So I have done this a few times with myself as a support. There's I place a ward in there. It's like my entire team is dead because they died, but yet it's like I'm hiding behind here, watching them slowly kill the Titan, and all of a sudden it's like I'm like, okay, that must be the 25% mark. It's like I blink in, then I immediately hog, and that very well could be what kills it, which means my team, or whoever is left alive or alive at the time, gets the buff. Not only is that the important part, but you're denying the enemy team the buff. So if they don't have that buff, that means they don't have that major advantage over you, which means it's still an even fight, so to say. The same thing can be done with the Gold Fury. So that's why if you notice that the enemy support is up and you suspect them around, I would probably think about placing a ward somewhere in the back area or around, or looking for him, or have one person like scout the perimeter a little bit for possible invades or something like that. Because having that giant stolen right in front of you is the worst sight of all. And to a support who does the stealing, it is amazing. I love doing it. I've done it so many times because people just do not pay attention. So when it comes to a support, never underestimate. When it comes to an objective-based team fight, killing the support is probably the biggest thing you can do. But if it's just a regular team fight, like in the middle of the map, like in front of the tier 1 tower, go for the back line. You want to kill their damage dealers. You want to kill their mages. You want to kill their hunter. So it really depends on where you are and what you're fighting for, which is another strategy which I can get into right now. Do you think I should get into that right now? Because that's another big part of Smite right now as well.
Well, that's another big strategy. That should be for another video. But for this time, I want you to stand right here.
Okay.
And I want you to point out the spot where a ward would normally be for this mana camp.
For this mana camp?
I'm at.
Yes, there's two places. There's one that where I'm standing right now is usually an okay one, or you can place one that's more like right here, which gives you vision of the entrance of it. So if you're paying attention to the map, you'll be able to see more, because then you'll have a little bit of vision into the speed camp as well. So it's really, I say this spot right here is much better due to the fact that you have more vision in different areas. But the weakness of the spot is you do not have the eyes on the buff itself. So when they kill it, you don't have the timer. But if you're paying attention, you'll be able to see when they go in and when they take it.
Here's something that I think you should know. I'm going to stand behind this rock, and yeah, it's a good distance for Bakasura and anyone with a nice jumping ability to pop over.
So pretty much it is another engagement area that you can go for. And also, you also have to be aware that...
I forgot to tell you about that.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. But it's not a lot of people know that. So you have to put that in the back of your mind. The chance of it happening to you right now, since this is so early in the season, is not very high. But it's still a possibility. And you can also use it yourself as an advantage. Having a ward there will allow you to know that they're there and doing the camp, which means they don't have eyes on you and they're not focused on you. So if you engage onto them, then you have the element of surprise, which gives you an advantage to kill them. Even if you're behind, an advantage, a surprise attack can always bring you back. Hence why guerrilla warfare and all that, it's that basic concept, guerrilla warfare. How did we get onto like real world strategies? That is so weird. Oh yeah, did I finish explaining the skill build? I don't think I did I?
You didn't explain when to adjust your alt, because sometimes it's not always right when you need it.
No.
Because your alt is very powerful.
Yes, your alt is very powerful. Like, I don't suggest getting it every single time you are able to get your alt. You mainly want to level up your 3 the quickest, due to the fact that that's where a lot of your damage is going to come from. Your 1 is not really there for the damage, but it's mostly there for you to stay on top of your target, to lower their protections. So pretty much if you're in a good position and you feel very comfortable, you're like boxing well and you're pretty much winning your lane and you're not getting ganked a lot, you have wards up and you're pretty safe. You pretty much want to level up your 3 regardless of that position. But after that, you might want to consider using your 1 or your 2. Your 2 allows you to gain more HP, more health back. So that's if you're in a very good position, you might not need that extra HP and protections from it. But the more damage from your 1 might make the difference between a kill and someone escaping. So if you're doing very well, you might want you level up your 1 instead of your 2. But if you're doing very poorly and you're struggling in your lane, you would want to level up your 2 next, because of that extra HP and protections will really help you out. And let's just say you're doing very well, you at least want 1 level in your ultimate, because that slow and the cripple is very strong especially against characters who use leaps and like in Agni, for example, he uses a dash to get out of trouble. If you throw that cripple on top of him, you can literally burst him down in almost no trouble whatsoever.
Do you wish to show an example?
You have a good cripple, so let's just say, Fender's, let me lower your HP just a little bit. See, even without without many skills, see, he's low, and he wants to get away, right? I throw this on top of him, he cannot run. He's forced to fight me, and then, voila, I can pretty much finish him off. But as you can tell, with him hitting me a few times, I have lost a lot of HP. Again, Bakasura is an assassin. You have to recognize this. So you pretty much want to take out, you just want to target people who are suitable for assassins, like mages. you really want to go after those squishy targets at all times. Your target should never be the tank. You want to kill the key targets, mages, hunters, not the support. The support, no. The support is not there for you to kill. That's not what you want to go after. So hopefully that helps you out and shows you that, one, as an assassin, you need to recognize where you are, what you're doing, if you can win the team fight, if you cannot. Also, if you're in a team fight, who the target you've got to go after is. You need to recognize who that person is and how quickly you can kill them. The quicker you can kill them, the better. So pretty much we explained who you want to go after and why, right? Because if you can kill off those key targets before the team fight really like escalates to either one winning or losing, you pretty much want to take out the damage dealers in that. Also, you need to recognize what you're fighting for as well. Because if you're fighting over the giant, that might change your target to a different individual. Now, if it was just a regular team fight in the middle of the map, like you're contesting over a tier 1 or you're defending it, your target will change. So you need to recognize what you're fighting for and why you're fighting for it. Like for Gold Fury, you're fighting for that to get an advantage for the rest of your team. So sometimes it's like if you're able to force the opponents away, and they decide to leave the Gold Fury behind, you have a choice there. You can either A, chase after them and try to kill them, or you can disengage and go for the Gold Fury. I don't know why I've seen this so many times, but people have given into going after the kill, which is not always the correct decision. Yes, it helps you out in your KDR and whatever bullcrap you want to spout about, but it doesn't help the team. Because a kill gets you somewhere between 300 to 250 gold for one individual, and some assist gold for the people around. That does not help someone who's on the other side of the map who's not really a part of the fight. Now the Gold Fury, on the other hand, 300 gold to every single person on your team, regardless of living or dead. So, between those two, which do you think is the better option? I believe Gold Fury is the better option between the chase and the Gold Fury itself. The Gold Fury is far superior for the team altogether. And that would be my argument on it. Because wasting that time chasing them could also put you in a position where you're deeper into their territory and they're spawning. Like, so let's say I'm chasing, just say like a mage. Fenrir's behind me. I'm ignoring him to chase after a mage. And all of a sudden I find myself way back here and not much, and they can collapse on top of me. See? He can collapse on top of me, bring me to towers, things like that. And as you can tell, it could lead to my death. Just because I want to chase after one single target could very well lead to my death if I am collapsed upon.
I didn't mean to hit you that hard.
It's fine. It's fine. It's only a tutorial kind of thing anyway. But I hope you guys understand that chasing is not always the best idea, and you can end up throwing the game if you decide to chase. Even if you're doing very well, things can change in the late game. You have to remember this. The early game is very important, yes, but if both teams are contesting, they each get the Gold Fury at least once, and it's relatively even across the board for both teams. One small mistake like that can cost you the game. So paying attention to these things is very important. Sometimes you have to let a kill go to be able to say, okay, you get away, guess what? We get the fire giant. and for that I am willing. And sometimes you also have to make other sacrifices, right? Like it's like you're going on to the fire giant, but they're like, okay, we can't really team fight, so they're doing split pushes instead and taking your tier 1 tower, taking your tier 2, and pushing onto the Phoenix. Then you have a different decision to make. Do you defend your Phoenix, or do you kill the fire giant? So first, think of the position you'll be in if, let's say, they do take the Phoenix, and you get the fire giant. What then? You have a lane with fire minions constantly pushing into your Titan. Will you defend that lane, or will you push up a lane and try to take theirs? At that position, I would say you're probably winning in the team fights. I would take the fire giant and I would push a lane, because the Titan could take some damage. But the difference between the two is, what if they continue split pushing and they try to do a Titan race? See who can kill the Titan quicker. Then you might want to defend, because a split pushing god like Apollo, he's still pretty decent at split pushing due to the fact that his attack speed, and the new item, the Crusher, is in the game. Here, I'll show you that real quickly. The new item Crusher is where is it? I gotta find it. 1 second. I know it's here somewhere. Here, the Crusher. This Crusher is not meant for team fights, but it's meant for split pushing. You're able to take down Phoenixes, you're able to take down towers very quickly with this item. So you have to realize what you're up against and act accordingly. And saying in the banning and picking stages, you pick right and you're able to have a somewhat even setting team. And let's just say their hunter is Apollo and we have a Neith, who's okay with split pushing as well, because she can stay in the lane and also contribute in a team fight if needed. So right there, you're able to balance it out a little bit. But let's say Neith is here helping with the fire giant and Apollo is pushing the lane. At that point, you might want to consider Neith backing up, because she can still provide help with the team fight and the rest of the team push. This comes with communication. You need to communicate with your teammates, which is why curse is such a big thing now. If you do not have communication, you're not able to make these decisions with your teammates. You're not able to conquer objectives effectively. Because you may be like, hey, we should take the fire giant, and someone else might be like, no, I want to go after this kill instead. The miscommunication right there could lead to victory or defeat. One person, they might be thinking, oh, it's fine, we have time. But seconds is maybe the very difference between victory and defeat. You might have only 10 seconds to get fire giant if you're behind. Well, let's just say I'm losing heavily to Fenrir here. It's like a 1 to 5. Yeah, I was able to kill him once, and he's down for about 30-60 seconds. Then I'll have the chance during that time to get a major objective, like the fire giant. It's like, oh, I can either push a lane, take a tower, or I can go for a major objective. See, if I go for a tower, that's not a bad idea. Going for towers is not a bad idea. Towers are a very big part of the game. But that objective, the fire giant, is a very much bigger part. Because if he gets that instead of you, and since you're farther behind than him, you're at a higher disadvantage due to the fact that it gives the protections, the health regenerations, and he's able to kill towers quicker. That is what the difference is. The slight decisions like that. So I say go for the bigger objectives. Deny them those objectives. Yeah, you might not be able to get the full benefit out of it because they might be able to defend their towers effectively and you're not able to really kill it. But you're denying them that advantage. Because if they had that advantage on you, you will lose a tower. You will not be able to defend it as quickly or as effectively as him.
by the idea of pirates roaming these waters.
Whoa, hello.
Is it a real thing?
Hi, TV. Nice knowing you. But anyway, I think that pretty much summarizes all the big changes, or at least the big objective changes and the big itemized changes and some strategies you can use. And that was a very long talk, really. Jeez. I apologize if I might make this into a two-parter. But anyway.
Yeah.
Do you
Because there's some other things we could talk about, but it's going to have to be a separate video.
Yeah, we're going to do this in a separate video. So, do you have anything to add on before we close this out?
Before we close out specifically, there is something with bakasura that is really unique. As before, when you remember him treating me like the garbage I am,
oh yeah,
there's always a chance for something unique. Bakasura, do you have your jump available?
Yep.
Okay, can you place me on the inner edge where the front of it's basically where the back of it would be directly on me, and show me how you would do a combination of your pounce and attacks in order to end me?
It's like that, you mean?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, so first let me level
just
up
show me
everything.
complete combo.
Okay, first let me get a minion, because I'm kind of low HP. 1 second.
Yeah, okay. You may want a couple.
No, it's fine. 1 minion is fine. It gave me 300. Because the
Pretty good.
Yeah, because the when the base heal is 270, but the more physical power you gain, you get a little bit of additional healing. So it's not too bad. It's not a bad heal.
Awesome.
It's not a bad self heal. But pretty much.
Anyway.
So here we go. Okay, let's say we're in lane, right? Because I want to show you the full advantages. Pretty much what you want to do before you fight is, if you're going to fight in the jungle, you want to use your 2 before entering the fight. Because, okay, let's say you're behind those minions, right? Okay, let's go. Go in, you eat a minion quickly, activate your 3, and you get on. And you see how much damage I'm doing to him?
Natural thing.
Woo!
And yeah, that
Sorry,
burst damage.
I got excited.
Yeah, I know, but that burst damage, and I didn't even use my ultimate there. You could also throw your ultimate down as well, which is probably what I should have done, which most likely would have saved my life. But yeah, that's pretty much the basic combo right there. You pretty much want to leap in, reduce the his armor, eat a minion that'll give you protections, and you won't get the full heal out of it, but you get the protections. Your 3 you activate your 3 to gain the true damage. Then you can if you really want to screw them over, throw your ult onto them. Or a different kind of combo is throw the ult on them first, then jump and do the rest. If there's no minions around, you can't really use your 2, so don't bother pushing the button because it'll screw you over. So, again, realizing where you are and just a little bit of practice with them will make a difference. Anyway, I hope that... is that all you want to is that what you want to show?
I think that was a good viewpoint and a good view of Bakasura's skill. Also some blind spots that people may not be using to their full advantage, as well as something all assassins should be keeping eyes on. Because it is your job to be as awesome as possible, get the jungle done as fast as possible, and keep the enemy jungle from doing theirs. That's very important. Small objectives now are the main thing, as well as the large objectives. Do not forget this. That mid camp is so important. The back camps are so important. It's a busy, busy world now.
Oh, yes. And remember, the mid camps no longer spawn at the start of the game. They spawn at the 3-minute mark. So that means if you're the support, you want to rotate towards that around at the earliest about 2:30, the latest 2:40. because you need that a little bit of extra time in the early at the 3-minute mark to get there, because you don't really have boots at the time, so you need a little extra time to get there. And also to set up presence like, hey, I'm here. Yeah, I'm not gonna let you take this mid camp. It's like with the Ymir, you can freeze them, run over, hog it. And the mid camps are really important because one, they don't give a lot of gold, but it's the XP that you want. The best way for support to stay relevant in the game is that XP. I've gone a few games like completely forgetting about the mid camps, and I end up at the end of the game like level 15 with their support, who's been getting the mid camps like level 19. And that level difference is a big difference. One, because you get the more HP, you get the more power, you get that bonus. You can put some more stats into your abilities, things like that. So subtle little differences like that can be a major difference for the late game. Okay, so let's put in another combo here because I'm feeling sussy.
Yep.
Oh, I missed. I missed. And I punched him in the. I punched you right in the face.
Now that is actually a benefit of seeing the full power of Bakasura as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Even with my max build, I could not kill him fast enough.
Yeah. And also,
say Fenrir's weak.
No,
he's got a good early game to mid.
But it's
Bakasura requires. It's just Baka's true damage hurts me too much.
Yeah, it's that big difference there. And also, if you're a better Bakasura than I am, which most likely you are, because I don't play Bakasura very often, you would have landed that cripple zone, which does make a big difference. Because you're able to stay on people much easier, and it's also as an assassin, should only take you a moderate, like a few seconds to kill someone. And within that few seconds of being in that cripple zone, you should be able to kill them. But that's pretty much it, right? We pretty much covered everything. Or
everything on at least Bakasura and the job of jungle. We would just have to go over every single assassin and make sure we get it down packed.
Well, after that, it's like we can just really talk about the individual more than strategies and things like that, because we talked mostly about that here. So in future videos, I hope you remember these parts, because I'm not going to repeat myself 12 billion times in different videos. So I hope you guys realize this, and if you need a reminder, or you oh, what was it that you said, feel free to review the video to go back to that time. It was like, oh yeah, that's right, that's what I'm supposed to do at this point. And it's like, this is what I need to really pay attention on, and this is what I need to look for. So I mean, if I'm helpful, if this helps you at all, please leave a like, share it. It's just, and if you want to see more, feel free to leave a comment below. And if you think I have made a few mistakes, please let me know. I'm really open to suggestions. So if there's any way for me to improve these videos, if you want them to be shorter, longer, if you want more detailed, more details, then please let me know in the comments below. I really would love to hear your guys' thoughts on these. But like always, I'll see you guys in the next video. And before I end this, do you guys want to say goodbye?
Goodbye.
Wait! Oh my God, that's so
Come here,
cool.
Baka.
Oh my God! No! Run away! Run away!
Come here.
Run away! Run away! Oh, my cooldown! My cooldown!
Come on, cool down.
No, cool down! Damn it!
Revenge.
Oh God. Well, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Later.